you need to understand that every sequence adds a pattern. Arithmetic progression is also known as linear sequence. And what is the pattern of arithmetic progression? Pick a number and let it be a term in an arithmetic progression. So I'm picking 2. Then there is usually a common difference. That is, there is a number that will be added to a term to get the next term. Same number added to the term to get the next term. So I'm picking a common difference. Let's say 3. So if this is my term and I have another number which is 3 to be my common difference, it means that I will have a sequence that is going to line up in this form. 2 plus 3, 5. 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 3, 11. And I will have something like this. This is a sequence. And what kind of sequence is it? It is a linear sequence, which we also call arithmetic progression. So now, what is an arithmetic progression? An arithmetic progression is a kind of sequence that is formed by adding a constant to a term to get the term after it. Or generally, let letter A be the first term. Let letter A be the first term of an AP. And let D be the common difference. And let D be the common difference of this same AP. So according to the formula, our first term, which we can still write as T1, is our A. That is the first number on the sequence, the first term. Then our T2 will be derived by adding the common difference to the first term. Don't forget, it is generated by adding a common difference, that is a constant, to a term to get the term next to it. So T3 as well can be generated by adding A plus D, meaning that you are adding D to this one, which is going to give us A plus 2D. If you do the same thing for T4, you definitely have A plus 3D, and so on till you get to Tn. That is, in general, Tn. And Tn will follow the same pattern. Let's look at the pattern in which they follow. When we are dealing with T1, we discovered that the coefficient of D here is 0. When we were talking about T2, the coefficient of D here reduced by 1, which is 1. That is, T2 gives us the coefficient of 1. T3 gives us the coefficient of D to be 2. And T4 gives us the coefficient of D to be 3. Then, if we are to follow the same pattern, Tn will give us the coefficient of D to be n minus 1. That is, because the pattern is that fourth term reduces the coefficient of D by 1, which is 3. Third term reduces the coefficient of D by 1, which is 2. So n term is definitely going to reduce the coefficient of D by 1, which is n minus 1. And this is how this formula is being generated. Common difference D, that is the constant that you add to a term to get the next term. How do you figure it out? The common difference D is defined as T2 minus T1, that is the second term minus the first term, which is can still be written as T3 minus T2. Now, in general, you can say that D, which is a common difference, is the difference between a term and a term before it, which is the same thing as saying Tn minus Tn minus 1. That is a term minus a term before it. So whatever result you get is the number that is common to all. For example, if you have a sequence that looks like this, this sequence has common difference. And how do you get the common difference? Just pick a term and a term before it. I would have loved to pick one, but we were not given the value before one, that is the term before one. So I will advise you to pick 3. 3 minus a term before 3 is 1, and that gives us 2. Do not just do this alone. Check for the next one as well, which is 5 minus 3. 5 and the term before 5 is 3, so which is still 2. So if you have this, then it is a confirmation that the common difference of this sequence is 2. So now, this is the way you generate common difference. So let's look at this problem. It says find the 10th term of the AP, that is arithmetic progression, 5, 9, 13, and 17. So to get the next term, what do we do? This is the first term, which is A. So all you need to do is to determine the value of A and the value of D. Do not forget that A is the first term, which is given to the 5. And do not forget the formula for calculating the common difference, which is T2 minus T1, which is also the same thing as T3 minus T2, and so on. So if you are to use this formula, our T2 is 9, our T1 is 5. And if you don't want to use this, you can as well use 13, which is T3 minus T2. And you will definitely get the same answer, which is 4. Meaning that our common difference is 4. So when you have this, you can look for T10. That is our 10th term. Don't forget the formula. Tn is the same thing as A plus n minus 1 into D. So to look for T10, just follow this formula by saying T10 equals A plus 10 minus 1, which is 9D. And we already know the value of A, which is equals 5, plus 9 times the value of D, which is equals 4. And this will give us 5 plus 36. And our result is 41, which implies that our T10 is equal to 41.